So on July 28th, Paul O'Neill, who was reportedly in a stolen Jaguar S, sideswiped a car, engaged in a police chase, and was fatally shot. On Friday, they released the video of the actual officer who took the shots. His camera didn't work. There's been some suspensions and stuff, but they finally released the camera footage from some of the other cameras, at least one. So we're gonna watch some of that. Right, right, right.
You had a car, get an ambulance.
Okay. He's failing.
Watch out, bro, watch out, watch out. Come on. He bowed, going west. To the house. Get the house out. Give me over.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I know that this isn't supposed to be funny, but it is kind of funny that he's just sitting there. That the guy's just sitting there on the other side of the gate, and he's like, fuck, I can't climb over this. Quick, somebody help me. Just didn't find another way around or anything.
Shoot at us.
So I mean, at this point, the guy is limp. I mean, pretty sure he's already dead, or is at least very close to dying. But we don't know exactly what happened. Well, we know kind of what happened, but we don't know exactly what happened.
612 Charlie, offender is in the yard, 7340. Male,
You got anything on you?
406 boy, has the pin open shot or just the offender?
Stand by, squad.
Open shot.
So at the end of that video, they were taking off the guy's vest, and he pulled up his pant leg, and you could see that he was a little injured. I think that was from hopping the fence, because that was like a scratch, and it was vertical. And yeah. In Chicago, officers are seen firing at least 15 shots at the black Jaguars. Crashes. Driver bolts. Multiple shots heard. Get down, hands behind your back. You shot at us, motherfucker. Just. Covered in blood. So. Yeah. Policy violations. Cops. So, I have great respect for cops. And even though I don't necessarily like cops, I don't agree with all the laws that they enforce. They signed up to do a job, and for the most part, that job gets done well. But in every crop, bad seeds and bad fruit. Mostly bad. And the bad part of the crop is being seen so much right now. It's just the number of like these violent, unreasonably violent policy violations for, local police departments is shocking. The number of them, the scale at which, it's like every week a black kid gets shot by a cop in a way that it's just unjustified. Now, did this guy do something wrong? Yes. Almost certainly. Did this guy deserve to be arrested and to serve some sort of punishment? Absolutely. Should that punishment have been being shot in the back, though, and dying for stealing a car, and then freaking out when he was being chased by police? No. Does anybody deserve to be shot over taking a joyride? Or I don't know if he was planning to sell it in a chop shop or what, but is that a crime deserving of death? No. No. And Sharon Fairley, the head of police oversight board that released the video, described the 6 videos as shocking and disturbing. We only saw 1, maybe 2. It depends on how they cut it, but it's hard to tell. But it looked like it was only 1 to 2 of the camera footage. Michael Oppenheimer, who's representing the family, said saw street justice, which is what you see where the police are playing judge, jury, and executioner. Now, the thing is that is the power that police have. That's the power that we give police. When if you get pulled over by a traffic cop and he gives you a ticket, that is exactly what it just happened. He was the judge, the jury, and the executioner, quote unquote. He saw your action, was the jury of your peers, decided that you were guilty, acted as judge, and handed down a sentence. And then, executioner is like, now you gotta go to the traffic court to pay your ticket or whatever, mail in your money or whatever. Whatever. But that's what it is. And sometimes literal executioner, if it's in a case where it shouldn't be in a case where somebody, unless you're being fired at, or somebody has a gun and is threatening you with it, you should not shoot. There was an instance, I think it was just last week, of a guy, I think he was 17, who got shot because he was playing with a toy gun. And just a cop freaked out. It was a kid who had mental problems throwing a fit. Caretaker was trying to take care of him and was like, "Hey, don't shoot." And the cop was like, "All right, I'm gonna shoot." It was like, "Don't shoot, it's not a real gun." And then he's like, "Bah!" And then the kid dies. Oh wait, kid might not have died, but the kid got shot. And then they asked the cop why. The cop's like, I don't know why I did it. Was it because he was black? I think he was black, but was that the reason? Was it that he'd never seen a retarded kid before? I mean, I know that that's politically incorrect, and I just had a discussion about political correctness and how much I like it. But I don't think that retarded is really that bad of a word, especially if you use it in, I don't know what the kid was. If I knew what the kid was, I'd refer to him. I'd refer to whatever he had, whatever disorder he has, by its proper name. But I think retarded fits here. So, okay. According to Oppenheimer, one officer in the video is heard saying, "Fuck, now I'm gonna get a 30-day suspension," which is getting off easy. Honestly, a 30-day suspension for murdering somebody, that's pretty fucking it's pretty fucking an easy punishment for murdering a kid. He led the police on a chase to the south side of Chicago. The impact on the camera's ability to record is under investigation. Hard to believe that the new technology simply didn't work. And I agree. You know what? In fact, if that guy was there alone and if he was the first person on the scene and he knew that he was going to shoot the kid and had turned it off, that'd be fucking despicable. And you know what? That may not have happened. He was the one who was in the crash. But I'm not sure that would have necessarily caused his body cam to stop functioning. So, yeah, kind of hard to defend an officer when they're in a situation like this, because, you know, I want to have the backs of our officers. I want the, you know, our officers need to be able to do their job and, you know, keep the people safe. But we're at this point where we're kind of diverging. You've got the division of power, and the police they have so much power. They have so much power. So many instances where police have been just let off for things like, or have only gotten 30-day suspensions in instances where, I mean, they probably should have been tried for an actual crime or have been fired or something like that. It's, ugh. 3 officers have been relieved of their police powers, which, that's a good place to start. Implementing this kind of technology, the body cameras in more police stations, which is a thing that is happening. Obama put out a program that is supposed to be adding like 500 new cameras a week to police stations across the country, which is fantastic news, because I would love for officers to be more accountable. I would hate for us to start slipping into sort of a police state, something where the police have all the power and they can abuse it and nobody can really do anything about it because they're not held accountable by anybody. But we're basically in like the 1920s, where they could just take you into a back room and rough you up to get any information that they wanted out of you, because there was nobody holding them accountable. There was no technology in place. They didn't have cameras in interview rooms. They didn't do stuff the same. They could falsify statements about what a witness said or something like that because there was nobody to stop them. But now, you know, there's ways to keep people accountable. And again, it's not like that was the norm in those older times, but there were people who did it. And I don't want to see our society regress to the point where police can just like raid an entire street looking for a person again. You know, it's the kind of thing where it scares you. You're like, the thought that the police could have just so much power that they could just be like, we think that there's somebody hiding in this general area, so we're going to raid all the residences. That's a scary thing, and we're not there yet. But if you don't hold officers accountable for these kinds of actions, you don't have technology in place to prevent these kinds of things from happening, or at least discourage them greatly, they'll just continue to happen. And you know what? There are a lot of people who don't like cops because of the small minority. And it's just, some people say that it's because of racism. And you know what? Part of it might be. There might be some sort of systematic racism that is in our police force across the country. It's quite possible. Because you know what I don't know what the psych evaluations for becoming a police officer are like, but I can imagine that with some of the stories that I've heard from police officers, and some of the stories that I've heard about police officers, is that not everyone is an upstanding citizen who's a police officer. Some people abuse their power. They're basically the adult version of the middle school bully, the kind of, I'm in 8th grade, you're in 6th, I've hit puberty, so, I am way bigger than you are because you're a 6th grader. And so then the 8th graders pick up on the 6th graders because they can. They can. And there's nobody to stop them. What? Are the 6th graders going to stop them? No. Are the 7th graders going to stop them? 7th graders don't give a fuck. The 8th graders going to stop them? The 8th graders are the one doing the bullying. And any of them going to care? Fuck no. I mean, as long as they do it in a way where they don't get caught by teachers or something like that, they can systematically oppress, whatever 6th graders they want. I mean, that wasn't a thing that happened to me, but, it was things that happened to people that I knew. And I don't want to see this. I see the sort of parallels that are going on here, and these are just the 8th graders that grew up. Just the adult version of these 8th graders. They have the same mentality. They've got power over people. But oh 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 department policy prohibits firing into a moving vehicle when the vehicle is the only force used. If you look at back in the video, when one of the officers gets out, the Jaguar is driving away, and the guy takes several shots at the Jaguar. Breach of policy, which makes sense. If you shoot somebody in a car while they're fucking driving, and you hit them, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna fucking crash into something. And they were driving near other police cars. Could have gotten another officer killed. It'd have been insane. Ugh. But anyways, Flash rants. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos. Next time I'm going to talk about something else. Stay tuned for what it is. You may just learn something. Adios. Been Alex.